This is Dr. Semmelweis, who said it would be a really good idea to wash your hands between the morgue and the postpartum women. Yep, they said it'd be a really good idea to do that. You know what happened to him? The medical students who wanted to work with him were threatened with expulsion from school if they persisted. Okay, so the idea that you're going to have to allow other people to move things forward and to be courageous is not new. And this is Galileo. All right, let me go back here for a second because I really do want to say this. The only thing, Sid Baker said this at one of my very, very first DAN conferences. I'm not allowed to say DAN anymore. I'm supposed to say Defeat Autism now. Sid said, you know, all we ever wanted anybody to do was come look through our telescopes because we're pretty sure the world is round. That's all. Just please come look through my telescope. So let's have a look through a telescope. Leo Kanner described autism in 1943. He described 11 cases of people, and he did not describe crazy children. He described children who were sick, who had eating problems, who couldn't thrive, who had allergy problems, who had terrible immune system problems. He described children with lots and lots of issues who, oh, by the way, had behaviors. Okay? And somewhere along the way from 1943 till now, we've gotten to the point where we say, it's just a psychiatric problem. And what we've got now with our new numbers of 1 in 91 is a whole host of physicians who are supposed to take care of our children who, with the research that's just recently been published in the Pediatrics Journal, say, we haven't the clue what to do with these kids. I have no idea. Well, that stinks to be us, doesn't it? They don't know how to take care of our kids. We're sitting there trying to tell them how, and they think we're all crazy. All right, so what we have to do is start working on communicating and talking to a physician in a way that a physician understands so that we can start to have them successful in helping us to take care of our children, okay? All right, so here's what I'm hoping we're going to get out of today. I want you to think. I want you to think, and I want you to say why, and then I want you to be a real smart mouth and do what the teens are all doing. Go, really? Really? Are you sure? Because I'm not really sure that that's an okay primary thought. Much of the research that we're dealing with is predicated in just bad start-out places. And so you're going to come to conclusions that are going to be bad conclusions. Okay? So let's question everything and say, is this really what we need to be saying? I want you to know that autism is a medical illness. It is not a psychiatric disorder. And all the Risperdal in the world, no matter how FDA approved it is never going to fix my kid's gut or her immune system. I want us to understand that a human being is a series of lots of interacting clockwork gears that are all spinning together. And we have to stop thinking that when we do one thing inside of a human body, we get one result. We have to start thinking that when we do one thing to our human being, it makes a 360-degree ripple effect outward so that it doesn't have just one effect. No, GABA is not just to try to help my kid to speak, okay? And my probiotics are not just to make the gut better. They have huge impact in lots and lots of different areas, and that's a big shift when I was taught that amoxicillin was going to treat the ear infection, okay? So it's not just you, because you've been taught by the TV ads that tell you to go get some Viagra or whatever the new one is. It's about thinking holistically and globally on that human being, okay? And what we're going to be about doing today is interrupting vicious cycles that have gotten started in our children and getting them back on track with all their clockwork gears spinning properly. This is really fun. I'm going to get to look this way too. Okay. All right. I did really well, didn't I? Concentrated right through all of those doors moving. Okay. One of the things I want us to take home today is that illness is illness and it needs to be treated. Okay? The thing that you need to remind physicians and that we tend to forget is that when we were in medical school, they said 90% of what you think is wrong with a patient ought to come out of taking a good history. 90%. When I finish talking to the mommy or the daddy, I should have a very, very good idea of what I think is wrong. About 10% of it, gee, that makes 100%, ought to come from a physical exam. The labs are meant